Welcome back. We're back again tying a fly for Pemberton Fish Finders Friday Night Flies. I'm Boulder. This pattern that we're doing today is called the Birken Punk. It's some very basic tying here. We're going to start with some of the things that we used. We have a number 6 Eagle Claw steelhead hook with the turn down eye. We're using a 5/32 gold Cyclops eye, or a gold bead. The body here is medium UV Chanel, and it's in a hot orange. And then we're also using red pearl Flashabou for the tail. And my thread I'm using today is a 6/0 uni thread in a camel color. And I'll get this rigged up and we'll start tying for you. So I'm choosing this pattern because there's a lot of cutthroat that are coming up into the river right now. We're sitting early April, and they're starting to come up into the rivers as well. The salmon fry are starting to move around in the rivers themselves, and the cutties like to eat them. So back to the fly here. So we got our hook. I'm putting the bead on with the I put it on backwards with the small opening towards the eye of your hook. Get it in my vise here, and I'm just going to wrap up with some of the thread to get this started. We're going to go right back to the end of the shank. So this fly as well, you can tie in very wide range of colors. I've already done a few tonight in a silver body and a pink mohawk. I've done a gold and black. So there's the pink and silver. And this one here is done with the large size Chanel, so there's quite a difference in the thickness of the body or the length of the fibers. So what we're doing is this here. This one's really nice in the water. I just used it a couple of days ago, and it swims quite brilliantly. Okay, so I'm on there, and I'm going to start with our tail first. So we're looking for about 6 to 8 strands of the Flashabou. We're going to cut it the full length. If I can get this to work. There we go. Alright, so I want a tail that's about half the length of the body. So I'm just going to do a quick little measure here. Alright, and I'm going to fold this material back and forth. So we went forward, now we're going to go backwards, and we're going to do the loops the same size of what we measured. And we're going to pinch all the material in between our forefinger and thumb. Basically we're just going to go back and forth. Make a really bushy tail, use the most out of your Flashabou as you can. Making a real mess here. I'm going to just start that over again. And we're not going to talk so much through it, so I can actually figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, there we go. So you have a loop end, you keep hold of that loop end. There we are. Back. Alright. Somewhat accomplished what I needed to do here. So you're going to end up with it all like this. I'm going to tie that on nice and tight. I like to try and keep it on top. What we're also going to do is take a couple of wraps underneath all this tail material. So it'll just help pop it up. Helps it from getting twist it up in your hook bend when you're doing it. So I'm not going to trim this off. I'm going to use it to help shape the body. So I'm just going to tie in all the material pretty much up to the eye. I am just a little bit back here because we are going to be tying in the rabbit strip later, so we want to leave room to be able to tie that in. And then I'm going to chop off the tail. I like kind of moving my scissors back and forth, get more of a ragged end. Not everything's exactly the same length. There we go. So that's our tail. And now we're going to move all the way back to the back. I'm going to tie in our chenille. Just tighten up my vise, it's getting loose. So we're going to take a piece of this UV chenille, really quite nice. It really shines in the sunlight. If you hold your chenille up, there is the right end and the wrong end to be tying this in. The fibers all naturally hang one way. So in this, I know it kind of like sticks out everywhere, but they are going in a downward position. We want that fiber to be flowing towards the back of our fly. So we're going to tie it in with the fibers moving in that direction. So just tie that in and then wind all the way back up to the eye. And I'm just going to build in this gap just a little bit. So there's quite the difference in the body size. This too will just add more weight to the head of the fly, which is nice, and that's why we have the bead on there, so it jigs a little bit when it's floating through. It's head heavy. Alright, so we got our tinsel on, and we're just going to wrap up. While we're doing this, we're also going to keep pulling the fibers back as we go around. Every stroke, we're pulling all the fibers back. Okay, we're getting there. So we're going to go right up to behind the bead. You don't want to pile too much in behind the bead because the rabbit's got to come on next. So we tie that off. There we go. And cut our excess. So that would also be a great woolly bugger right there. But this is where the embellishment comes. I'm just looking for my rabbit. There we go. So I'm choosing some dark green or olive color rabbit strip here. And just like the chenille, there's a right side and a wrong side. You can see on the bottom, the fibers of the hair are all running towards the bottom. That's the way I want it to run, out the back of the fish. We want a tail, or a mohawk, sorry. That's about the length of your fly. So it's just come in, so when it's wet, it'll be just touching through the top of that tail that we have. So what we're going to do, we know our length, and in reality, we're only tying on a small portion there. So unlike a lot of other ones where they use a wire ribbing and they tie the whole length, we're just doing this little mohawk. It really sways in the current. Now that I've been playing with it, I gotta line it up again. Alright. So I'm just gonna push aside all these hairs, get a nice clean cut. That way it really sets you up for doing another one if you have a nice clean cut and you haven't lost all this hair. It's all about kind of getting the most out of what you purchased. It's not cheap always. So I got my piece. With this end that I'm going to be tying in, I'm just going to trim a little bit off each corner just to help lighten up what I'm tying in. As you can see, this doesn't get too many wraps. This is the last step of the fly. So we just want to put that in a little bit of an arrow. Put it right behind the bead. Do one loose one so that you can get it, the thread on there. You want to make sure that the skin is laying flat on the bottom and that the skin side of the rabbit strip hasn't flipped to the top. So we got our one loose one, maybe one more. I'm going to pull it tight, not too tight so I don't break my bobbin. Let's give her a couple wraps. I'm going to go in front of that little piece there just to lock it in. All this orange stuff's in my way. There we go. Alright, so that's it. Now I'm just going to give it a little collar. That's why I kind of used this color. The other ones that I was making, I was using orange thread and giving it a nice little like orange collar, kind of like bleeding gills. This one I decided to try it with the dark band right behind the eye. Hopefully that the light reflecting off of there will kind of look like an eye and then give it a little bit of separation. So that's what I got. I'm just going to give it a whip finish. You can put a dab of head cement on there, just help it be secure. I don't normally use it, so I'll do 2 whip finishes. 2 knots better than 1. I use it. Snug it down, and that's your fly. Birken Punk. So I'm looking forward to getting out in about a day or two to try this fly out on the river in the new colors. Like I said, I was fishing with it for some steelhead, a little bit bigger version, just a couple days ago. It was looking really good in the water. So yeah, we're looking forward to this Birken Punk right here on Friday Night Flies with Pemberton Fish Finder.